This week, President Trump issued a memo to defund cities like Portland, Seattle, and D.C., calling them anarchist jurisdictions. We've had our Verify team looking into what this means and whether it falls within the president's power. Here's our Jason Puckett.
This memorandum from President Trump was published Wednesday. It's written to Attorney General Barr and the Director of the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB. It calls for federal funds to be blocked from Portland, Seattle, New York, and Washington, D.C. The memo defines these cities as, quote, anarchist jurisdictions, cities that have, quote, permitted violence and the destruction of property to persist and have refused to undertake reasonable measures to counteract these criminal activities. So what does this mean for these cities? To find out, we spoke with attorney Edward Waters, who has worked on federal grant law for decades, and Professor Rick Sue, a constitutional law professor at the University of North Carolina. To start, both experts say this is outside the president's constitutional power.
Under the Constitution, the branch of government that is responsible for taxing and spending, and grants are spending tax dollars, of course, is the U.S. Congress, not the executive branch.
This is not the first time, I think, that the president has tried to steer local policy through the use of funding. We saw this through the sanctuary policies, presidential memorandum on sanctuary jurisdictions, where he also tried to withdraw funds.
In 2017, President Trump ordered that sanctuary cities stop receiving federal funding until they comply with federal immigration law.
That has been locked in courts right now since then. So I suspect that's going to follow a similar timeline.
So withholding federal funds is a constitutional power of Congress, and President Trump's last attempt to do it wound up in a legal battle that still hasn't been resolved. And that's why, according to our experts, this memo likely won't turn into real action.
Politically, there is a sense, at least the president wants to make it out, that there are certain communities that are under enforcing or not going against protesters as strongly as he would like. But legally, it's not clear that there's any clear line to draw here, right, between certain communities and another community.
And that's where we're at right now, a debate over whether this is a political opinion or a legally enforceable action. The memo gives the DOJ and OMB 30 days to come up with a plan for the president. In the meantime, none of these cities are having federal funds withheld. Folks, if you have other claims or questions for us to look into, send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.